Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 4th of August. The first important news, that is Biological Diversity Bill, the challenges and the concern. This is from the text and context page of the Hindu. Second is Jan Vishvas bill passed in a Rajya Sabha from the explain page of Indian Express. Third, that is center imposed curb on the import of laptops and tablet. This is to ensure that Make in India initiative for the laptop semiconductors are flourishing in the country itself. Second last, that is capitative breeding for endangered Himalayan vulture. And the last is an editorial, India needs evidence-based, ethical-driven medicine. Now, apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ-based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is Biological Diversity Bill, the challenges and concern. Something important for General Studies Paper 3, that is Conservation, Environmental Pollutions, Degradation and EIA. So recently, Rajya Sabha has passed the Biological Diversity Amendment Bill 2021, and this particular bill aims to conserve the biodiversity, promotes its sustainability use, and even further, by sustainable use, I mean that can be used further for the future generation, and equitable sharing of the benefit that has arisen there. Now, why is the bill considered problematic? Now, some concern has been raised by the environmentalists and even the stakeholders. The bill exempts the codified traditional knowledge. This is what the IU's industries have been looking forward with. And benefit sharing denial local communities benefit from accessing the biological resources. So these are the exemptions which has been provided. Now the term codified traditional knowledge lacks clear definitions and leading to potential explorations even for the rural people, even for the environment and even for the forest, right? The decriminalize offences and proposes mandatory penalty की बात की गई है, raising the concern over the resource exploitation. It is something like you are exploiting something, and after exploitation you are compensating that with the financial losses. This is something which is actually not advisable when we talk about the sustainability of the environment. The bill also decriminalizes the offences under the Act and proposes monetary penalties, raising concern about the potential explorations of the biological resources without accountability. Very, very important point. If you're writing in mains paper, make sure you write this. The experts regard this exemption as a regressive because the legislation was enacted in first place, ensure fair and equitable sharing of the benefits. Now, how does the industries view this act? I mean, precisely about the industries and the stakeholders. The industries have been unhappy with the regulation that has run to the court and sought the relaxation. 2016 की अगर बात करें, उत्तराखंड में बायोडाइवर्सिटी बोर्ड ने एक नोटिस सेंड किया था टू द दिव्य फार्मेसी, which is again an entity owned by Patanjali houses, right? So Patanjali is basically which is owned by Baba Ramdev. So I think you must be aware of the Divya pharmacy. Starting the part of company, it has violated the act, the biological resources without the prior permissions from the board. They have actually not taken the consent from the board, and without any approval, they have started making and manufacturing the product. The company challenged the notice in Uttarakhand High Court, and ultimately it has lost the case, right? In 2015, the representative from the Gujarat Ayurveda Industries has urged central government ताकि वो relief provide करे by postponing the implementation of access for the benefit sharing. See, the benefit sharing should be there when it comes to the part of humanity, medicine and something which is legitimate, but something which has not been a prior approved by the expert committee, and if it is used, this is termed as a violations. The fact is that Environment Ministry had given the precedence for ease of doing business rather than it has mandated to protect the environment, that is a cause for concern. Moving ahead, that the Jan Vishvas bill passed in the Rajya Sabha, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So Rajya Sabha ने recently Jan Vishwas bill को pass किया है, and again something, the bill will amend two provisions of the law governing the manufacture, storage and sale of medicine in India. Now, one of the amendment has led to a debate on whether the manufacturers of the substandard medicine would let off easy by paying instead fine or imprisonment. Right? This is something which is there in the provision. Now, aim kya hai Jan Vishwas bill kit has brought to the parliament with the aim to improve the ease of doing business. Right? It will amend 183 provisions across 42 laws to do away the imprisonment or fine for certain offenses, right? So this is to ensure that the imprisonment provision are relaxed, and even if the fine is on the higher side, that can also be relaxed. Now changes to ड्रग्स एंड कॉस्मेटिक एक्ट की गई है. जन विश्वास बिल के अंदर कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चेंजेस इनकॉर्पोरेट की गई है. दीज आर the two major changes which has brought in under the Drugs Cosmetic Act 1940. First, the amendment will do away with the imprisonment section, that is 30 subsection 2, with the current laws of the company repeatedly using government analyst or test reporting promoting their product. And second, at present, अगर इसी की बात करें first की, that companies face 2-year imprisonment or fine none less than 10,000 rupees in the repeated violation. So the amount is very minimal because this was an act which was enacted in 1940. Now this will change only to fine but not less than 5 lakh rupees, and amendment will provide under the bill, that is a Jan Vishwas bill. Now the second is the amended, that is the section 32 subsection A, with the part of existing law to allow compounding of the offences under 27D. So compounding is a legal provisions that allow one to pay fine instead of undergoing the criminal proceeding. So you can pay the amount, there is a monetary loss, the part of penalty which is there. If it is paid, the part of law imprisonment will be waived off. Now this is an essential mean that the companies will be violating the provision of 27D, continue to face imprisonment between 1 and 2 years, and fine not less than close to 20,000 rupees. So these are some of the part, but again allowing this we have to check that these laws are not being violated only in the case कि सिर्फ आप पैसे दे करके उस compensatory laws को पूरा कर रहे हैं. Now impact on drugs manufacturing. The Drugs Act Schedule M lists the requirement for such species, processes and the drug manufacturers. The changes that were made to the Schedule 2018 is to improve the drug manufacturing of the country that are yet to be adopted by the majority of the drug manufacturers. Now the Health Ministry said that the bigger companies with a turnover of 250 crore will need to implement this measure with 6 months and smaller companies within a year. So time frame दी गई है ताकि वो सारे rules के जो applicability है उसको implement करें. Now manufacturers की क्या opinion है इस पे? Manufacturers have said that allowing compounding is actually a good move and prevent companies from being stuck in the litigations for year or minor offenses. और उसके अलावा it has been said that the standing demand in the industries for the minor offenses will be decriminalized, and further it will reduce the part of harassment that is doing to the businesses, right? So actually what was happening, अगर आप किसी भी केस में जाते हैं, take none less than 3 to 5 years to get that resolution, and adequate resolutions की बात करें. So ultimately things are impacted. तो penalty दे करके आप immediately एक resolutions की तरफ तो जा सकते हैं, but we have to understand the fact that whether the penalty which has been paid is genuine, it is something which is doing right way, it is not discriminatory to anything, that has to be taken into consideration. Now moving ahead, Center imposed curb on the import of laptops and tablets, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementation. Mostly we import things from China. Apart from that, Hong Kong is also there, Singapore, Taiwan and Malaysia. Right? Central government ने restrictions लगाई हैं for the import of laptop, tablets, computers with immediate effect. और ये नोटिफिकेशन रिलीज की गई है बाय द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स, राइट, added that the import would allow again a valid license for a restricted import. Allow की जाएंगी but number and the total will be restricted. The entities or a company planning to bring laptops and computer for the sale in India will now have to take permissions from the licensee of the government or inbound shipment होगी. Notification in this regard has been issued by the Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT जिसे कहते हैं. It's a powerful body working under the Ministry of Commerce. Now the restriction has been imposed under HSN code 8471, very important for prelims also, on 7 categories. You will not find this in the newspaper. I have added this to give you an extra information on the part of the restriction that has been imposed. Now what is HSN code 8471? This is a harmonized system of nomenclature code that is classifying the system to use identify product for taxation purposes. The data processing machines are classified under HSN code that is 8471, and this code is used to identify that they are designated to perform data and processing tasks. Now reason behind this restriction, this has been moved like they have been aimed to promote the domestic manufacturing. अगर बात करें इंडिया में प्रोडक्शन लिंक इंसेंटिव्स भी स्टार्ट की गई है हार्डवेयर सेमीकंडक्टर एंड मेनी. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज ऑलवेज लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड कि खास करके जो कंप्यूटर के कंपोनेंट्स हैं उसकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडिया में ज़्यादा फ्लरिश करे. द लास्ट डे टू अप्लाई फॉर द PLI scheme was 30th of August, and government has curtailed inbound shipment of this good from the countries like China and Korea. Further, government has announced that it is expecting that impact will have an import. और जो भी प्रोडक्ट इंडिया से बाहर जा रही है उनके नंबर रेस्ट्रिक्ट होंगे तो सप्लाई में भी कुछ हद तक कमी देखी जाएगी. Tech giants like Apple will have to either start manufacturing of the laptop in India or stop importing. They cannot import the part of the gadgets to India. So if they're manufacturing or importing from China, that will be restricted. They invariably would be required to set up their plant in India, manufacture things in India. That will call for more job opportunities to the sector and even flourishing the part of domestic economy as well. Another news, capacitative breeding of endangered Himalayan vulture, something important for General Studies paper 3, that is the conservation, environmental pollutions, degradation and EI. So कुछ research की गई है that has recorded the first instances of the capacitative breeding for the Himalayan vulture, which is there in India in the state of Assam, Guwahati, Assam state zoo के अंदर की गई. The capacitative breeding is a joint effort taken by the BNH, that is the BNHS, that is Bombay Natural Historical Society और Assam Forest Department की collaborative efforts है जिन्होंने आसाम जू के अंदर इसको implement किया. हैबिटेट की अगर बात करें, दिस इज समथिंग विच इज़ देयर नियर थ्रेटन, और इंटरनेशनल जो IUCN की रिजल्ट है या फिर जो आप स्टेटस बोल सकते हैं उसमें नियर थ्रेटन है. हिमालयन वल्चर इज कॉमन टू माइग्रेंट एंड इवन द रेजिडेंट टू हाई हिमालयस, along with the part of nesting, food, frequency, feed, growth and colorations are nesting that were observed. So conservation status मैंने आपको बता दिया, this is near threatened as per the IUCN, and the species are covered by the multi-species plan, so MSAP भी कहते हैं. Conservation of the African Eurasian vulture by the National Action Plan in India, apart from India, Bangladesh, Nepal and Cambodia as well. Now moving ahead with the editorial of the day, that is India need an evidence-based, ethical-driven medicine, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So looking at this editorial, the theme and the focus of this editorial is homeopathy and its regulation, which is evidential based. तो एफिकेसी देखेंगे होम्योपैथी की किस तरह से है, वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की क्या गाइडलाइन और वार्निंग है, क्या स्टैंडर्ड एंड एफिकेसी होनी चाहिए एंड द वे फॉरवर्ड. नाउ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने काफ़ी हद तक प्रमोट करने की कोशिश की है आयुष, और रिसेंट में भी काफ़ी पुश किए गए हैं आयुष मेडिसिनल सिस्टम को, जो कि मेन स्ट्रीम में लाने की कोशिश की गई है. एंड टू अचीव द यूनिवर्सल हेल्थ कवरेज एंड डीकॉलोनाइज द मेडिसिन, it is using a pluralistic approach by the government, and government is definitely doing their best to promote the past of Ayush medicine, right? Now, the move will require every participating system or the part to meet the basic safety and efficacy standard. अगर गवर्नमेंट प्रमोट कर रही है तो उसकी जो सेफ्टी स्टैंडर्ड है प्लस जो एफिकेसी स्टैंडर्ड है वो भी मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट मीट करनी चाहिए. Homeopathy was introduced in 1839 in India by an Australian physicist, J.M. Hongenberger, right? So this is how the thing has actually started. Now, efficacy और safety of homeopathy की अगर बात करें तो evidence based अगर देखा जाए evidential report या results के through, so it is weak in nature, right? So overall it is weak. The first careful conduction was there by the double blind randomization control trial और उसके अलावे Nuremberg salt test भी की गई थी 1835 में, that has noted the symptoms and the homeopaths claims observe the effect of their medicine. जो fruit of imaginations है, self deceptions है या फिर जो perceived opinion है वो सिर्फ काम नहीं कर सकती है. We need a concrete result, we need a result oriented study. This is what has been highlighted. Recently research ने demonstrate किया है that more than 193 homeopathic trials in the last 2 decades were not registered. World Health Organizations की अगर बात करें होने की, further the World Health Organization has warned against the homeopathic treatment of HIV, tuberculosis, malaria and even flu, diarrhea in infants. It has no place in their treatment. इस तरह की जो severe diseases हैं जो कि impact करती है ह्यूमन की, उसकी कोई proper treatment वैसे homeopathy में नहीं है, ये कहना है WHO का, right? Evidences is accumulating. Homeopathy does not work in cancer. This is again a fact. And it reduces the part of the adverse effect of the cancer contrary to the lay beliefs. Instead, treatment has been linked to both non-fatal and fatal adverse where their aggression was there. And the part of seeking homeopathic part of consultation which is there in India is the application-based clinical care. और कुछ important injuries में भी देखी गई हैं that it take a lot time to get the things done. So homeopathy efficacy wise it's pretty low considered to the part of immediate disease that is there by an individual. Standard efficacy की अगर बात करें, homeopathic support argue that the standard commonly used is evidential based and not suitable for judging the holistic effects of the homeopathy. तो claimed को किस तरह से debunk किया गया है उसके कुछ points में समझते हैं. First, homeopathy advocates that it fails to invent the alternative evidences of scientific or synthesis of the framework suitable for testing the efficacy and Stafford or acceptability or to criticism. If you see, no, to many diseases which I've talked about like cancer, HIV, another part, malaria, these cannot be directly cured using the homeopathic medicine. You have to reach out to the allopathic one. Now, second is the claim about the homeopathic being holistic and typically paired with evidence that is based on the medicine and that is reductionist. In 2023, most exponential evidence that was there was the part of biopsychological approach towards the health. WHO ने predominantly ये compose किया that medicine practitioners and supporters have to ensure that the way they are treating should be evidential and it should give an immediate result. Third, the evidential based medicine should only stop the establishment of the empirical evidence. It should quest to discover the mechanism जहाँ पे जो underlying evidence है उसको भी prove करे and it should set also the precedent for the next disease. In several allopathic and modern medicine, they have updated themselves based on the growing scientific evidence. But in homeopathy, specifically in India, we have not found such a level of excellence. Now to proceed further and conclude the part, adopting a pluralistic approach in the medicine can only decolonize the part of medicine, but we need to ensure that efficacy and the part of a result oriented thing need to be worked upon. India has a part to the universal health and must ground the evidence based that is an ethics driven medicine, right? The argument is to reject the homeopathy is not just based on the clonality but is also the chief on the lack for the evidence and efficacy. As I've told you, बहुत सारे ऐसे disease है जिनकी कोई efficacy numbers नहीं है, ना कोई data है, so we cannot have an empirical evidence to that. So that limits something and that has the part of the limitation when it comes to the homeopathy. Now moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is B. For second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice about the credit rating agency, CRA. They verify, consider documents, support the unconditional enclave. In the year, CRA is regulated by the RBI. So do check out for the correct option. Second is about the Civil Aviation Organization. It is established under the Convention for Civil Aviation, also known as Sydney Convention. ICO is funded directly by 193 company. So do check out for the correct option. We have a lot more other platform where you can practice the current affair question. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any queries about admissions test series, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.